Amelia Bedelia, Unleashed by Herman Parish. Pictures by Lynn, Arvil. Chapter 9. Dog Gone. Charlie dashed out to the deck. "Pierre, Pierre," he called. "Come here, boy. Come here, Pierre." Amelia Bedelia could hear the panic in Charlie's voice. They kept calling and calling Pierre's name over and over until it seemed to echo through the entire neighborhood. But it was no use. Pierre had evaporated into thin air. "This is all my fault," said Charlie. "Pierre probably feels stupid like I do, and he's run away." "I know," said Amelia Bedelia. "Let's make posters and hang them up in the neighborhood. That worked for the lady I know who lost her dog baby." "We don't have time," said Charlie. "This is an emergency. I'm cooked. The dog shows in a couple hours. Mom is depending on me." Amelia Bedelia watched the breeze blow another tuft of Pierre's fur across the deck. She caught it and held it to her nose. She could still smell the yummy conditioner they used. Her eyes grew large, and she said, "Charlie, I'm pretty sure you're not cooked. I have a really good idea. But I need to call someone before I tell you what it is." Charlie handed her phone. "This is what he heard Amelia Bedelia say. "Hi, Diana. It's me, Amelia Bedelia." "Hi, I'm okay. You know the bloodhound you walk, Sherlock, right? Like the detective? Can I take him for a walk today? Like right now?" "Perfect. Will you tell Mr. Holmes I'm picking him up?" "Thanks. We're on our way." Amelia Bedelia grabbed Charlie's hand. "Let's go," she said. "Sherlock is on the case, and he'll help us for sure." "Those are the droopiest jowls I've ever seen," said Charlie. They were headed back to the deck, to the last place they'd seen Pierre. "Sherlock can find anything," said Amelia Bedelia. "We just need to give him a clue to work with." She waved the tuft of Pierre's fur under Sherlock's nose. His tail began to wag from side to side, faster and faster. "Barroo!" bade Sherlock. He took off, dragging Amelia Bedelia and Charlie along behind him. "Barroo! Barroo!" They ran over lawns, through backyards, across the tennis court, then straight down a street lined with stores. Sherlock led them right into the nearest butcher shop. "We're wasting time," moaned Charlie. "Sherlock doesn't know where Pierre is. He just wants lunch." Amelia Bedelia wasn't so sure. "Excuse me," said the butcher. "Did a huge French poodle stop by here?" The butcher laughed. "You mean the dog with the world's worst haircut?" "Wow, that's him," said Charlie. "Yeah," said the butcher. "He was here a few minutes ago. He looked miserable." "Hey, who butchered his hair?" Amelia Bedelia and "Anyway," said the butcher, "I felt sorry for him, so I gave him a hot dog." "That was really nice of you," said Amelia Bedelia. "Here," said the butcher. "Here's a hot dog for your bloodhound." "Thank you," said Amelia Bedelia. "This can be the special treat for Sherlock when he finds Pierre." "If he finds Pierre," said Charlie. Amelia Bedelia dangled the tuft of Pierre's hair under Sherlock's nose once more. "Track," she said. "Baroo, baroo," breathed Sherlock, and away they went. Amelia Bedelia could tell that Sherlock was hot on Pierre's trail. They bounded through backyards, over a compost heap, into a briar patch, and across the stream, where Sherlock paused to sniff the bank. Amelia Bedelia looked at Charlie. "You're a total mess," she said. "So are you," said Charlie. "If we look this bad, imagine what Pierre is going to look like. Kiss the dog show goodbye." "Baroo!" bade Sherlock at the top of his lungs. This time there was a reply. They heard a feeble woof that sounded as though it was coming from miles away. "It's Pierre!" Charlie shouted. Sherlock took off again and led them to a culvert, a tunnel that was let the stream flow under a road. There they found Pierre. He was a wet, cold, shivering, dirty, disgusting mess. Still, they both threw their arms around him. He covered their faces with kisses in return. Amelia Bedelia hugged Sherlock and gave him his hot dog treat. It disappeared in his jowls and was devoured in one gulp. "I think he's saying thank you," said Amelia Bedelia, laughing. Amelia Bedelia and Charlie returned Sherlock to Mr. Holmes on their way back to Charlie's house. Charlie's mom drove into the driveway just as they lifted Pierre into the warm, soapy bath. When she checked on the progress, she was surprised to find Pierre still in the tub. "My goodness," she said, "you two are going to wash him away." "I just want him to look his best," said Charlie. That was really a lie, thought Amelia Bedelia, but it wasn't the whole truth either. She concluded that it was just a fib. "Well, shout if you need me," said Charlie's mom. "I'll be down in my office." While Charlie scrubbed the muck out of Pierre's coat and pulled out burrs and briars, Amelia Bedelia called Diana again. This is what she said. "Can your friend Eric, the dog groomer, perform miracles?" And that is the end of Chapter 9. Chapter 10. 2 for 1. Diana and Eric arrived at Charlie's house in Eric's mobile dog grooming van. Painted on the side of the van was a sign that said, "Woof Woof Groomer." There was also a giant picture of the head of a happy, barking dog, with the words "Woof Woof" coming out of its mouth. Underneath the picture was Eric's business slogan, The Groomer Dogs asked for by name. Diana introduced Eric to Amelia, Bedelia, and Charlie when they led Pierre, who was wrapped in towels, through the back door of the van and hoisted him on the grooming table. "Okie dokie," said Eric. "Let's see what we're up against." Charlie slowly peeled the towels off Pierre. Eric let out a low whistle. He walked around Pierre 4 times. Then Eric shook his head, looked at Charlie, and asked, You did this?" Charlie nodded. "Man," said Eric. "What did you use for clippers? A weed whacker?" "Eric, these kids feel bad enough," said Diana. "Can you help them out?" Eric shrugged. "I don't know, guys. Only time can repair this. In a couple of months, when his hair grows back, I'll come over and clip him right." But, said Amelia, Bedelia, "the dog show is tonight." "I really wish I could help," said Eric. "But see for yourself. Only one side is perfect, and the other side is a train wreck. What am I? I'm just a groomer, not a magician." "There's nothing you can do?" asked Diana. "Well," said Eric, "you'd have to rethink this dog completely." "Pierre is a poodle," said Charlie. "Thinking isn't going to change that." "My dad always said that there are 2 sides to everything," said Amelia, Bedelia. "Pierre definitely has 2 sides. Can you make the best of each side?" Said Eric. "You might be onto something, Amelia, Bedelia." He walked around Pierre again and said, "If we keep this one side like a perfect show poodle, but make the other side something really fun, well..." "What? That could look cool," said Diana. "What do you think?" Charlie asked Amelia, Bedelia. "After all, Pierre is your dog." Charlie shrugged. "Well, Pierre doesn't stand a chance winning anything now," he said, "so I guess it's worth a shot." Eric smiled. "After I finish," he said, "you'll have the most amazing dog in town." Eric went right to work. He carefully groomed the poodle's side until it was absolutely perfect and fluffy and poofy. Then he began to trim the other side. He clipped and hummed and fluffed and puffed and tweaked and twirled. Amelia, Bedelia thought Eric looked like a famous artist creating a masterpiece. She thought Pierre was smiling, too. "Well," said Eric, "what do you think?" Amelia, Bedelia, Diana, and Charlie studied Pierre. They all agreed that he looked interesting, but something was missing. It needs to be even more dramatic," said Eric. "Dramatically different. You know," said Diana, "I once saw a dancer who had a fabulous costume. One side was a fancy white dress, and he looked like a woman, but when he turned, the other side was a fancy black tuxedo, and he looked like a man. When he danced, he played both parts. I'll never forget it." Eric was nodding again. "Yes, fancy black, white, fancy black, fancy white." When he turned and eyed, "How do you guys feel about dying?" "I don't really want to," said Amelia, Bedelia. "I'm way too young." "I might as well," said Charlie. "My mom is going to kill me anyway when she sees Pierre." Diana smiled. "Eric means dying something another color," she said. "Charlie," said Eric, "would you mind if I dye Pierre's wild side black?" "Go for it," said Charlie. "I've got nothing to lose." Amelia, Bedelia nodded. She liked when Charlie thought about things and how flexible he was. Diana and Eric wiped up some black dye in the sink in the van. "Don't worry, this is vegetable dye," said Eric. "It will wash out in a few days." Amelia, Bedelia, Charlie, and Diana watched as Eric brushed on the dye. Pierre stamped his feet once or twice, but otherwise he seemed to like the feel of the dye brush. When Eric stepped back from the table, they were all quiet. "Wow," said Charlie. Finally, "Pierre looks amazing." "Bravo, Eric," said Diana, as she gave him a hug. "Pierre looks fantastic." "He sure does," said Amelia, Bedelia. "He's 2 dogs in 1. And that is the end of this video. But thank you all for joining, and I'm sorry for all the random pauses and stuff. My mind is just not paying attention to being present. Anyway, that is that, and I hope you have all a great day, and I'll see you for the next chapter.